Welcome to Edinburgh, the capital city of Scotland. And guess where we are today? We are on the top of the Edinburgh Castle. Our visit to Edinburgh Castle was an unforgettable experience full of history, grandeur, and stunning views. As we approached the castle perched on top of the castle rock, we were immediately struck by its imposing presence. This medieval fortress seemed to stand as a sentinel, watching above the beautiful city of Edinburgh. As we began our tour, we were welcomed by the huge iconic Portcullis Gate, made up of solid iron strips. This gate has protected the castle from several invading armies through the centuries. The cobble streets and narrow passageways gave a real sense of stepping back in time.
What is that? What is that, Papa?
From the castle ramparts, the view of Edinburgh was absolutely breathtaking. The city sprawled below us, with its ancient streets and modern buildings, blending into a landscape framed by an extinct volcano. The architecture of this stunning castle is a blend of medieval and later architectural styles, reflecting its long and complex history. This amazing Edinburgh Castle is situated on Castle Rock, which is a volcanic rock. The castle's design has evolved more over than 1,000 years. This natural fortress gave the castle a natural defensive advantage, and the early settlers recognized its strategic importance long before the first stone walls were built. We had a chance to visit the St. Margaret's Chapel, the oldest surviving building within the castle. Its beautiful atmosphere and intimate size were a stark contrast to the castle's larger, more imposing structures. We spent some quiet moments there, reflecting on the centuries of history it had witnessed. The steep cliffs on the three sides makes the castle nearly impregnable, with only accessible approach to the east. What amazed me the most was to see this iconic artifact at the Edinburgh Castle, Mons Meg. This massive medieval cannon dated back to 1449 and was built in Belgium. It was one of the most powerful cannons of its time, capable of firing enormous stones weighing up to 330 pounds. While strolling, we stumbled upon the Four Well, the 500-year-old well, which was the main water supply to the castle in the 16th and 17th century, being 34 meters deep. While going down these steps, we felt as if we were going down into history. The David's Tower. This tower is one of the oldest part of the castle, dating back to the 14th century. It was built in the name of King David II of Scotland. Though A part of the royal residence and fortress, it has played various roles in the castle's history, including serving as a place of imprisonment for notable figures. The David's Tower was severely damaged by fire in 1573 during the siege of the Edinburgh Castle, leaving it largely in ruins. Believe it or not, but over 500 years, a black dinner was served in the David's Tower, which ended in the death. The door-to-wall walk was a part of castle's intricate network of walkways and passageways that allowed defenders to move around the castle walls, oversee the defenses and the entrances that were the vulnerable points. After exiting the deep history, we made our way towards the royal palace, which was the residence to Stuart kings and queens of 15th and 16th century. It was also the birthplace of King James VI. The entrance to the honor of the kingdom led us to the Crown Square, which was a central area within the castle's complex. To reach the honors of the kingdom, the visitors have to pass through a carefully guarded area. The crown room where the honors are displayed are heavily guarded and secured. This room displays the crown of Scotland, the sceptre, and the sword of the state. And finally, we took a virtual walk through the prisons of war of the Edinburgh Castle. These prisons held several prisoners in the dungeon and other cells after the war. The prisoners were often held in dark, damp, and uncomfortable conditions. The cells were small with minimal provisions, and conditions could be very harsh for the long-term captives. Some prisoners were held for years, while the others were released or exchanged. The prison of war today provides us a detailed information of these prisoners, the struggles they must have endured, and how the Edinburgh Castle played a pivotal role during the turbulent time in Scottish history.
Monsieur, merci.
Cheap young man. You have them for a day. We have them for the rest of their stay in these isles. Come on, come.
We had the privilege to see one of the oldest and most famous regiments in the British Army and their connection to the Edinburgh Castle, the Royal Scots. This regiment was formed in 1633 and it served the castle over the centuries. The Royal Scot Museum is dedicated to the history of this regiment. The museum displays artifacts, uniforms, and memorabilia that highlights the regiment's long association with the castle. The Royal Scots' historical presence in the castle adds to the rich military and cultural heritage to this iconic site. After exiting the Royal Scots Museum, we strolled around to behold the physical beauty of the Edinburgh Castle. But beyond that, this castle is steeped in rich history, which gives it a timeless elegance. We walked towards the low defences of the castle. It refers to the section of the castle fortification that were historically less formidable and less elevated than the other defensive structures. Then we headed towards the West Panorama, which offers one of the most spectacular views of the city, showcasing a unique perspective of Edinburgh and the surrounding landscape. Standing on the castle ground, you can take in the beauty of the city on its west. What you see is the old town of Edinburgh, the ancient buildings, historic landmarks, giving it a picturesque view. The 1 o'clock gun exhibition is a popular historic feature that explains the tradition of firing the cannon at 1 p.m. every day. This practice has been part of Edinburgh's daily life for over 150 years. The Lang Stairs, also known as the Long Stairs, provided a direct route from the castle down to the castle hill. These stairs are steep and narrow, fitting with the historic design of the Edinburgh Castle, where tight windy paths were often used for defense purposes. These stairs offer both physical and historic connection of the Edinburgh Castle and the city below, helping to illustrate the castle's integral role in Edinburgh's past. What an amazing experience it was to time travel into the rich and deep Scottish history.